Before we jump into today's show, I've got a really exciting announcement to make. The autumn cohorts for Start Your Podcast group program are now open. There are 5 dates between September and October, and it's a 6-week program that will get you launched before Christmas. So if podcasting was on your to-do list this year, if you really want to get your podcast up and done by the end of 2023, then come and join me for one of those cohorts and let's make it happen. I have a free masterclass available for you called Understanding the Power of Podcasting. You can go over to donnaeade.com/masterclass, watch the masterclass and get access to that enrollment. I hope to see you in one of the autumn cohorts very soon. That's donnaeade.com/masterclass. Let's get back to the show. You're listening to the Wedding Procast UK, the place to be if you are a UK wedding professional looking to grow and streamline your business. I'm your host, Donna Eade, 10-year wedding photography veteran and CEO at the Society of Professional Wedding Vendors. If you want to grow and streamline your business, this is the podcast for you. Make sure you hit subscribe where you listen or join our email list at www.spwv.co.uk. You'll find the sign up form at the bottom of every episode, and by doing so, you won't miss a thing. So let's jump into today's show. Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. So this week we are going to be talking about goals. Now, are you a goals person? Do you set them and forget them? Do you track them to the nth degree, or do you find yourself somewhere in between? Well, it is that time of year where we all start to look back at our businesses over the last year, where they have come from, where they are now, and where we want them to be in the future. So we are going to start planning for 2022 today. So let's jump into today's show. So before I get started on talking about goal setting, I wanted to ask you a question. How do you feel about goals? Have you ever asked yourself that? Because I did. And I asked this question a couple of years ago, and I was just like, do you know what? Actually, I really don't like the word goal, because to me, it's final. A goal is your final destination. And, at the end of the year, I'm not at my final destination with my business. I'm still wanting to grow it. I'm still wanting to move forward. I'm still wanting to make it bigger and better. The other thing with the word goal is it kind of is this black and white, it's done or it's not done kind of thing. You either hit it, you hit the goal, you get the ball in that net, or you don't. There is no in between. There is no gray area. And I kind of feel that if I set a goal and then I don't hit it, that kind of negatively impacts me. And I feel like I failed, and I start all this negative self-talk. So I looked at it myself and I was like, what can I do that is going to help me to look at my goals in a different light and to be more open to setting goals and not minding so much if I don't hit them. And so I actually changed it and made it milestones. So I don't set goals, I set milestones. And these are the stepping stones in my business that help me to move forward. Eventually, I will get to the point where I want to retire, which will be the end goal, is to retire early and, live a life of freedom. But I will be making small milestones, hitting small milestones along the way to get me to where I want to be. And by making those small milestones, if I don't hit it, it's a milestone. It's only a small part. It doesn't mean that I've missed the end target. It just means it's going to take me a little bit longer. And that to me sits better with my way of processing things. So, I don't mind if I don't hit a milestone, because a milestone is a small stepping stone to the next thing. And it's okay if I don't get that spot on. I can take a bit of extra time and make that work for me. So that's how I talk. So you're going to hear me say milestones. You're going to hear me say goals in this podcast, but you've got to look at it for yourself. If you are not negatively impacted by missing a goal, or that word, or the way it what it conjures up for you, then by all means use the word goals. I am not telling you that you shouldn't use it, but I'm saying just take a look and assess how it actually affects you. Because if you're setting goals and you're not hitting them, maybe you're setting too big a goal and you're not hitting it, and then you set another one and you're not hitting it. And if you're constantly not hitting these goals you're setting yourself, that can negatively impact you. And it's just being aware of these things that will enable you to change your language around it and change your perspective on it, to make sure that it's actually a positive thing and that it's moving you forward in the way that you want. So before you set any milestones for 2022, we need to have a look back. That is always the first stage of setting any sort of targets for the new year, is to look back on the old one. 2021, what did that look like for you? Did you reach your goals in 2021? Why? How? Why not? And did reaching them give you what you wanted? So sometimes we think we know what we want. I want to hit 50,000 in revenue in 2021. That's what I want. You hit that revenue and then you're like, oh, I'm frazzled. I'm working nights I didn't want to do. I'm missing weekends with my family. This isn't what I wanted, but it's what you asked for. So you've got to be really careful when you're setting your goals and your milestones to understand what that is actually going to mean for you. So if you want to hit a really big revenue, that you've got to put work and effort into that. Is that work and effort what you are willing to put in for? Is the payoff enough to warrant it? So definitely take a look back over last year and see where you did hit your goals. Is that what you really wanted? Did it result in what you wanted out of that? And if it didn't, when we're going forward, we can look at how we're going to do that. So now you've had a look at what 2021 looked like. Now you need to look at what we want to change. What do we want to change? What do we want to do more of? Where do we want to be this time next year? So look at those different areas of your business and think about these. It's not just about financial milestones. It is about creating this lifestyle. Do you need stronger boundaries around the time you spend off work with your family? Do you have a maximum number of weddings you want to take on a year? Do you want to attend wedding fairs? If so, which ones do you want to attend and how are they going to fit in? What will you focus on when it comes to your online marketing? What social media platform has worked well for you? What can you do to double down on that platform? All of these questions are things that you need to be looking at. Now, I will say that in the Society of Professional Wedding Vendors, we are going to be doing a milestone setting workshop on the 2nd of December in the membership. So you can head over to www.spwv.co.uk and click the Join Now button if you would like to come and join us. And we will go in depth, and there is a workbook that will go with this so that you can write it all down and really get to grips with what you're going to be doing. We will review everything, your finances, your targets and everything, and we will set out all your milestones for 2022. So if you want to join us, then do come and join the membership. All of the details are over on the website. So do take a look. And if you've got any questions, just let me know. Once you have, looked at all of those different areas and got written down what it is that you want to be doing next year, you need to create those milestones that are going to help you get there. So nothing will happen if you don't take action. Writing it down is great, and it really helps to put it in a visual context for you to be able to read it. It kind of makes it more real than just having it up in your head. But if you don't take action on these, achievements that you want to achieve, then they're not going to happen. So we need to create the milestones to get there. We need One, we need the calendar. So we need to be putting these things on the calendar so they don't get lost and forgotten about. Because one of the worst things that you can do is take the time to do this at the end of the year, ready for next year, and then you put it away and it's not seen again until next year when you're setting your goals for next year. And that's when you realize that you haven't hit what you wanted to hit and things haven't gone the way you wanted. I'm guessing that if you didn't hit your 2021 goals, you are someone who didn't look at your goals throughout 2021. You didn't keep them forefront of your mind. So look at these achievements and decide when you want to work on them. So I recommend only having sort of 3 big things a quarter that you are doing. So obviously your financial goals, that is spread through the whole year. But for example, if you want to look at setting up a new finance system, that combines booking a meeting with somebody and then them getting a contract sent through and then being able to sign the contract and pay a deposit, that's going to take time to set up if you haven't got it set up already. So starting from scratch, you're going to have to do some research. You're going to have to maybe talk to some people about how different softwares work together, and you're going to have to create that system and implement it. Now, that is not a 5-minute job. So it's quite a big, chunky thing to get done. So you need to be able to put it on the calendar so that you know when you're going to be working on that. Perhaps you want to do the autumn wedding fair season. If you want to do the autumn wedding fair season, you know that you need to be contacting people in kind of springtime to see when their fair is going to be and if you can be part of it. So if you were to book that out in, say, March, or something that you wanted to do in March for that 12-week period, sort of April for that 12-week period following, you need to sort of book it in there, sort of put it into that quarter as something you're going to do. And once you've got everything put into quarters so that you've got sort of a maximum of 3 things in each quarter, that means that you can get 12 things, 12 big things done in the year, which is 1 a month, which is great. You can start to get a little bit more granular with what you're doing. So we now need to take action on this. So if we take the wedding fair example, if you want to do some wedding fairs in the autumn and you've decided that April, May, June is when you're going to try and get bookings for those wedding fairs, you might in week 1 set out some time to do some research on the different venues that run fairs in the autumn that you want to do. So you'll start doing some research, you'll start getting some numbers together, some contact names and things like that. And then perhaps you park that because the following week you're going to be doing something different on your list of the 3 things you're doing in that quarter. Then maybe you get to sort of week 4 and you're going to then do your outreach. You're going to email and call these people and see if you can get a booking form for their autumn wedding fair. Then in week 6, you might come back to it again. And this is where you're going to follow up with anybody that didn't come back to you. So if somebody didn't answer an email, if somebody said they were going to return your call, maybe you're going to reach out to them again in week 6. And then hopefully between this time, you are getting bookings coming in. So, if in week 4, you're doing that outreach, you might between week 4 and week 6, when you've done that follow-up for week 6, then in week 8, between week 4 and week 8, you're getting booking forms coming through. So at week 8, hopefully you are done and dusted and you've got everything booked. But you've still got 4 weeks left of the month to work on this milestone, this target. So if you haven't got them all booked, you can start again in week 8 or week 9 and actually head out and do a bit more research and make some more calls and see if you can get some more bookings before the quarter ends. So you've got that bit of buffer time, but just make sure that you're actually planning it in for the week. So, as I say, we're breaking this wedding fair stuff down into research, outreach, follow-up, and bookings. So that's 4 different things that you need to be doing within that time. So, the bookings is really going to come as a result of the follow-up and the outreach. So it's the first 3 things that you can control. Those are the things that you can put on your calendar. So actually in the months of April, May, and June, put those things in your calendar on what week you're going to do them. And then when you get to that week, you can sit down and say, oh, okay, I've got to do my research this week. When am I going to do that? Okay, Thursday afternoon, I've got some space. I'm going to do it then, and write it in your calendar so it gets done. And by doing that, you're going to be taking those little stepping stones each week to get you to where you want to be by the end of the year. Writing it down, like I say, writing it down is powerful, and writing it down on your calendar so that you've got which week you are doing what in, then you have got it as a visual for you. But you need to be making sure that you're reviewing this all the time. So it's no good writing this all out at the end of the year, like I'm saying, like now getting this all done and then putting it away. And then come January the 1st, you're not looking at your diary. You're not looking at this sheet of paper that you've written all these targets down in. You need to be looking back at it. You need to be transferring that to your daily notebook, whatever it is, to put your top 3 of what you're going to do that day into that diary and get it done. You can't achieve it if you don't take action on it, and you can't take action on it if you've forgotten what it is. So make sure that you are reminding yourself and keep writing it down. The act of writing it out again is powerful. So if you're writing, I need to book 8 wedding fairs for this autumn, then whenever you're writing down that research for wedding fairs, I need to book 8 wedding fairs this autumn. Email outreach for wedding fairs, I need to book 8 wedding fairs for this autumn. Just keep writing it down and enforcing it in you and taking that action. So you can achieve anything you set your mind to. You really can, as long as there is a plan in place and you are focused on what it is that you want. So I hope that 2022 is going to be a prosperous one for you. We actually, like I say, do a deep dive into this and really go through a workbook and get it all written down in the society. So if you would like to come and join us, do head over to www.spwv.co.uk and join the society. One of the things that we work on is education and training, and this goal setting, milestone setting, happens once a year in December, and it's happening on the 2nd of December this year. So if you want to be part of that, do come and join us, and I will see you again next week. Bye for now. Don't forget to hit those stars and leave a review of the podcast where you listen if you found value in what you heard today. It's a free way you can help the podcast reach more people just like you.